mean, McKenna's an ABG, can't you tell? McKenna is an ABG, that's what's up. So yeah, heard it here first. Asian baby girl. What's good? That's McKenna. Come on.
Thank you guys so much.
And it's an honor. It is an honor.
Thank you so much for stopping by, everybody. To get things started, if we could get a show of hands, who went to prom?
Oh yeah.
You didn't go to prom? Why not?
So, my prom was during COVID.
Oh,
Skill issue.
Right. It's
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, so sad. Crazy. yeah.
I was actually prom queen.
Yes.
Gotta flex on them. I was theater prom queen, queen of the nerds. That's what's up.
I went to 3 proms.
Ooh.
I snuck into them.
I did not.
Oh, sorry.
Go to any proms because I grew up in Australia. Yeah, but it's fine. I got all the prom I need right here.
Yeah. It's okay. McKenna can give you one of hers.
Who went to prom was the friends we made along
The
the way.
saddest reaction we've had in the studio thus far is to Amy being Australian. It's just like, oh. Okay. Well, Amy, with that in mind, can you tell me, I mean, since you didn't go to prom, where did the concept of this story come from? If you could just tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it was during the pandemic, and there had just been a shooting in Atlanta where 6 Asian American, spa workers were murdered, and that kind of was very shocking, obviously, when I read about that news. And later on that day, I went out for a walk, and it kind of just brought back a lot of emotions from, being in Australia and growing up in Sydney and experiencing a lot of racism in my teens. And it just made me want to make a movie about, this.
When would you say that some of kind of the more sci-fi / body horror elements came into play? And also, as a follow-up, has this particular run of The Substance been of interest for you to watch as it applies to this film's viability in the market?
Yes, definitely. It was totally on purpose. The Substance came out around this time, but that's been really great. I mean, from the get-go, pretty much, I wanted the movie to be a satire, and I wanted her face to fall apart after she turned, and that was always from the get-go my intention. And it's definitely been a journey to kind of combine the 3 different genres with the family drama, with Fang and Shirley's, and McKenna's beautiful relationship, and the teen stuff, with the comedy and the body horror. So that's always been kind of my intention, and hopefully it worked out.
Shirley, what was your response upon seeing the script? Did you have a connection to this role?
Yeah, I was born actually in Amish country, Pennsylvania, which has not come up yet. But I grew up in Washington State, and I grew up in a small town where there weren't that many Asian Americans, and I vividly remember lying in my bed at night and thinking, when I'm 16, I'm just gonna be blonde and have blue eyes, because I didn't understand how any of that worked. So I think there's a kernel of truth there. I think that I've grown into somebody who really loves being Chinese and being Asian American and all the community that comes with that. But there's a kernel of that really scared and vulnerable girl in me. Yeah, and but I don't know. I mean, what's special about it to me is, thank you, Amelie. I needed that. I needed that tap. I think it's really cool because, I said, I ended up I'm an Asian girl and I was prom queen at my arts high school. I think what's really cool about how I've grown into myself as a person is realizing that embracing things that make me different and strange and silly and fun are all the things that make me and what make people that I like me too. So I really hope that people take that away when they watch this.
Amish country.
Lancaster.
We'll follow up on that later. McKenna, what was it like taking on this role, playing somebody else who you actually just get to meet in real life? What is it? Did you just talk with Shirley all the time? Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like playing that role?
It was definitely an interesting breakdown of a character to get. I was like, I'm playing who? You want me to do what? But then whenever I read the script and I got to read the character, although I can never understand what it's like to be this character or to live this story, I can deeply understand what it's like to be a very insecure teenager. So I really connected with that whenever I was reading it, and just getting to hang out with Shirley. And I don't know, I feel like we're pretty similar. I feel like we're both, I feel like you're like a lot more like fun and cool than me. And like, I wish that
Not true. That is literally, you're being humble. Oh my gosh. I don't know how close to get it. I'm like, what's the gauge? I shouldn't have done that on camera. Oh my gosh. No, but I mean, McKenna's an ABG. Can't you tell? McKenna is an ABG. That's what's up. So yeah, heard it here first. Asian baby girl. What's good? That's McKenna. Come on.
Not a smile. Not a smile, bro. Not a smile.
And it's an honor. It is an honor.
But you know, I mean, we came up with a bunch of like mannerisms, like the nose, and a bunch of things to tie the two characters together, because obviously we are not the same person. So we wanted to make sure that it translated and that there was like a through line and a connection throughout both halves of the movie.
McKenna's an ABG. So
Yes, breaking news.
sometimes the headlines write themselves. Like, I don't really have to do anything. Maitreyi, I wanted to ask you, obviously you have some experience in the high school space, as it were. The tone here is a bit different, but does it help having access to previously having acted in Never Have I Ever, like the universal high school experience?
I think like it's like they're so different, like in tone and like also character. I mean, Davy 100% I think could actually relate more to Joan's character. It's actually been really refreshing to play Brenda, who is someone who's so unapologetically comfortable in her own skin, which is also nice representation in itself for audiences, for people who really do see themselves as just someone who's happy to be who they are, but they all have, you know, their own little nuggets of like, wow, well, I wish I was also white in this moment, right? But I do think the high school experience of just friendships, you know, and I mean, Joan and Brenda's friendship, when that breaks down, like that's heartbreaking. So I think that's just a very universal experience of just being young and also just figuring out who your real friends are. I mean, I loved filming that scene with you at the end when, you know, we have that breakup. It's a friendship breakup, but it's real, you know? I think two different ways that like, you know, I've been able to experience that through my characters, but it's really cool to play this kind of vein of, yeah, no, we're not friends anymore. This ain't cool, and we're not going to romanticize this one. There's no coming back from this, so yeah.
Can I just say that scene was all Maitreyi. She was so incredible. She came and wanted to add those lines. And
Okay, but Amy, no, let me shout out Amy right now, because the idea was when I read the script, I was thinking, okay, if I had a friend who did this, and they were my best friend and they went through a surgery to become white, and they told me, oh, well, I feel prettier now and I'm happier now, my first reaction would be, so what do you think about me? Like, am I now your ugly friend? And thanks to Amy, who was super kind as a director to be able, like, to make me feel comfortable to have the space to bring up this idea, we got to add it into the movie. And I think it is really cool, right? Yeah.
so freaking cool. Can I say that? Can I say the F word?
Oh, okay.
I can say the F word?
Please.
Hell yeah. Fuck.
I insist. Emily, I'm happy to see you here because I had a very particular question about your character, and that is, how many takes do you think you did of just shaking that salad? And is there like a finer technique to shaking a salad to toss it?
Honestly, all of the credit goes to Sarah, who played Greta, because she was whispering under her breath all of the counts for us to like be in sync. If she wasn't doing that, I don't know what we would have done, because we learned it. I mean, like, we learned it, like 30 minutes, like, before we started shooting?
I don't know, but I forgot about it. She was like, 1, 2, 3, shake, open.
It was, honestly, it was so much
Dressing.
fun. It was so much fun. It was such a fun scene to film. Because it's just like, what are they doing?
It was utterly hypnotic. And then finally, Fang, at one point in the film, Joan's father tells him that you have to like find your own American, or like create your own American. The word American is what you describe it as. If it's not too personal, I'm one, like, do you remember in your own life you had that moment? Like, what is your American?
I think I'm still finding that in my everyday life. Still, it's a balance. It's some days I wake up and hoping that I could just be Chinese or just be American and not have the look that I have. But having this film and really helps me to work through some of my feelings and some of my anxieties about, being a Chinese American who actually was born and raised in China. Not, the struggles that I have is very different from, Shirley's struggles. And I'm just incredibly, fortunate to be part of the team and to be telling this story.
Well, that's it, gang. We did the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
thank
stopping
you.
by.